Wolves 1, Leeds United 3. 5 straight defeats now to kick off the campaign for Wolves. And that's one way, I suppose, to celebrate giving your head coach a new 3-year contract. Another abysmal home performance from Wolves. 10 goals conceded in the 3 home games so far this campaign. And I don't know why. Why do I remain positive about this football club? Why do I wake up every day thinking, it'll be better next weekend? Why did I approach Molineux today knowing it was going to be a tough game, but still had a sneaky feeling we're gonna get something out of this game? But for some reason, even at 1-0, and definitely as soon as Leeds hit that equaliser, I just felt all that positivity drain away from my body. Leeds United, much better in terms of what they wanted to do today. Wolves couldn't lay a glove on them in the second half. And even at 0-0, Leeds, Wolves just, I do not know what has happened to that back three and the stability that Vitor Pereira brought into the football club from December last year. But this year, it just looks like it's completely disappeared. We saw a shake-up in terms of the changes again. It was good to see Jürgen Strand-Larsen back in the squad. But a real shake-up in the lineup. Rodrigo Gomez starting at wing-back, Chichua coming back in, remaining with the same back three, which I don't dislike before the game, because I still think you want that little bit of stability, which is the word that the club kept using throughout the week. Tolu starting up front. And yeah, every time, Fer Lopez coming in, which I think, a lot of Wolves fans would have wanted before the game. But even sort of at 0-0, Leeds are coming forward and finding the half spaces really well. Agbadu's struggling so much, so flat-footed on the right-hand side. And Leeds were getting in behind it and creating, getting the ball across the box and creating half opportunities. First little bit of quality that we saw from Wolves resulted in a goal. Nice little hold-up play from Tolu, back to Fer Lopez, a beautifully weighted ball, and Ladislav Krejci can slam it in. That's what we've missed really from our midfielder. I think since Lemina's gone, we've struggled a little bit with that. With Lemina, what he used to offer was those late darting runs into the box. With Andre and João Gomez, as good as they are, or can be, we've not seen that from those two. So that's what we need. And it's nice that, for Krejci to get the goal, but it just all went downhill from there, really. I haven't obviously watched any of the highlights back, but, the first Leeds goal, I think from a Leeds point of view, they'll be happy with it. But from a defensive point of view from Wolves, again, you may as well give me that goal and we can carbon copy and photocopy that and put it into every single match so far this season. We saw it last week against Newcastle with Voltamana, and again today, just not quick enough to close down the crosser. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin wins the header. I actually don't think it's the best header in terms of him getting it all his power behind it. But it's a little bit of an awkward and looping one. I think Sarr's got to do better. I just don't think his positioning's brilliant on that, to be completely honest. Calvert-Lewin had a little bit of a bite back at the South Bank because I think they was singing something towards him. Second goal, I can't take anything away from the Leeds second goal. I think it's a little bit of a cheap foul to give away from Krejci. He was saying that it wasn't a foul, it was just coming together, and Anthony Taylor gave it. Sarr took a long time to sort of arrange the wall. Could he have done better? Again, I've not seen it back, so I don't know. But when someone hits a free kick as sweetly as that, you can't take much away from it. But the third goal, again, Agbadu, so poor. I really don't understand how he managed to play the 90 minutes today, to be honest. From, in my opinion, one of the better centre-backs in the Premier League second half of the campaign last year, to now looking like he wouldn't get a kick around at Bantock Park at the moment. He just does not look good enough whatsoever. And he probably just needs to step out of the limelight a little bit, to be honest. But just offensively not good enough. And second half, Leeds knew exactly what they needed to do. Just sit back. They had a couple of counter-attacks of their own, but never really threatened Jose Sarr. But sat back, absorbed the pressure. And unfortunately, Wolves did not make it difficult for them one bit. In my head, I kept looking at the clock thinking, let's get a goal before 60. Try and put a bit of pressure on to get an equaliser. Let's get a goal before 75. Let's get a goal before 90. Put the pressure on in stoppage time. It wasn't happening. And just the one plan today, especially at half-time when he brings on Strand-Larsen. And you can hear the rain coming down now. That pretty much sums up the afternoon. But bring on Strand-Larsen. You got Strand-Larsen and Tolu as the two men just pump it up to them and hope it drops for us. Molineux was unlucky with a couple of half opportunities, but the only plan really was what I've just mentioned, and give the ball to Hugo Bueno and try and whip it in. The frustration for me with that, Hugo tried his best, but just no support around him whatsoever. Leeds could double up on him at times, and just with the way that we set up and played, there's not a central midfielder that's physical or creative enough to come and support him until Jean Arias came on and we saw a little bit of that. But just running, it looks like to me either something needs to change very, very quick in regards to next week at Spurs. You need a positive reaction, because to be honest, Jeff Shee said in the summer on a podcast he felt the club took too long to sack Gary O'Neill. Fair enough. You would think you would learn from this mistake. When a contract is not signed, your manager's still got a little bit of time left on it. You give him, I would say, you've got Spurs and Brighton next 2 games. Very, very tough and difficult fixtures. Then it's an international break. That's the perfect time to make your decision then. A lot of clubs may have bit the bullet now. I'll be completely honest. There weren't fans happy towards the end of the game. And, teams like Leeds United now, respectfully, are going to be teams that I would have expected us to be in and around this sort of bottom pack of 6-7 teams. They're 7 points ahead of us now. That's their first away win of the season. They've made Ellen Road a very difficult place to go so far this season. They've drawn 0-0 against Newcastle. They got a win towards the start of the season. That's what we needed to do, especially today. And it hasn't happened. And now we're in a very sticky position where I don't know what to say. Results have got to come fast for Vitor Pereira, or unfortunately Wolves are going to be left with egg on their face once again for sacking a manager, especially after just giving him a 3-year contract. Laughable. Why do I think that this summer Fosun maybe had learnt their lesson a little bit? No way. They're as stupid as I thought they were. And I said this during the week on the Vitor contract video, I certainly hope Vitor and I certainly hope Fosun could prove me wrong. But at the moment, it's not looking likely. Wolves 1, Leeds United 3. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, hit the like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you next time.